Football at 4, the question was, who's under the most pressure for the Panthers? We've already decided Bryce number 1, Ike Ekwonu number 2. Number 3, Chuba Hubbard. With great money comes great responsibility. There's that level of it, right? And he received the extension last year right around the game in Germany. He was a huge part of the offense, so much so that they kind of shut him down the last 2 games. Right? Was dealing with some nagging injuries and basically wanted to protect one of their engines that'll be driving the next year. He's a really big part of the offense. So there is pressure in just that, meaning when Dave Canales' offensive scheme is working best, the running back is cranking out first downs and getting a lot of touches and reading, blocking well and catching out of the backfield and pass protecting. Like, it's just a large responsibility to be the starting running back inside a Dave Canales offense. You pair that with his financial situation, which is, what was it, a $33 million deal overall? If you're including, like, obviously not just guarantees or anything. I think it's a pretty good deal, pretty good size deal for a running back.
Yeah, 4-year, 33.2, 16.4 million guaranteed.
There is a built-in out from a salary cap standpoint after this upcoming year. The Panthers can cut him next offseason, so after this upcoming season, and have only $4.5 million in dead cap. Now that's a good chunk of change, but it's not unfathomable, right? It's not completely outside the realm of possibilities if he doesn't have a great season that they would choose to move on from him. So there is a little element of, like, you have to play well enough for them to keep you around. I think everybody likes Chuba Hubbard. I think culturally they are big fans of Chuba Hubbard, but it is a production-based business, and you have to go out there and back up all of the positive comments people have given you in order to keep your spot, especially because really good running backs are found kind of in the scrap heap every year in the NFL. You can, fifth rounder becomes Bucky Irving or whatever, or fourth rounder becomes Tyrone Tracy. So when your replacement is potentially cheap, you really have to make it worth their while to keep you around. And then the last 2 I have, this is a tie for 4th. Bryce Young, most pressure. Ike Ekwonu next. Chuba Hubbard, 3rd. All on the offensive side of the ball. I thought that was interesting. Unintentional. Tied for 4th, I'm putting 2 defensive players. Shaw Smith-Wade and Damani Richardson. And it's almost like the exact opposite reason why, like, a Bryce Young is under so much pressure, right? Bryce Young, as the number 1 pick, wants to live up to his draft status, and there's pressure there. Shaw Smith-Wade and Damani Richardson, I mean, that's a 5th rounder and an undrafted guy. So they're not trying to live up to their lofty investment. They're trying to make the people that are betting on them look smart, right? Because we're still, at least I am, and Dennis, you can agree or disagree with this, I'm still surprised how big it seems Shaw Smith-Wade and Damani Richardson's role in the secondary will be this upcoming year without much of a safety net, right? They're kind of penciled in to play a lot, and it's not like, these young guys are, in the starting lineup, but they have veterans, but backing them up in case things go haywire, they can jump in and kind of steady the ship. Shaw Smith-Wade and Damani Richardson, I think, are going to be in the game a lot, and like I said, there's no real safety net. If that works, Dan Morgan looks like a genius. Dave Canales becomes like or Evero, whoever gets credit for the coaching on defense, looks like a guru. If it doesn't work, you're going to have a lot of people going, well, what'd you expect? It's an undrafted and a 5th-round second-year player. You didn't think to have somebody in case that didn't work out? And the pressure comes from when people, like, take a chance on you. You want to honor that chance. You want to show them that they were right in valuing you or in giving you that opportunity. And then add on the fact that, I always say first-round picks have 9 lives. Mm-hmm. What's the opposite of that, right? Like 5th-round picks and undrafted, they get 1 life. If you get an opportunity to play a huge amount of snaps, to play a large portion of the game on defense, and you don't take advantage of it, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get that chance again in the NFL, right? Then you turn into, all right, let me go find a place where I can catch on as a special teamer, and hopefully an opportunity down the road allows me a second chance, but that's not guaranteed. So, if you're a first rounder, You flame out somewhere, somebody else is going to pick you up, and they're going to give you a couple snaps, and you're going to have more chances to prove yourself, and there will be somebody out there saying, I can fix you. Look around the NFL. It happens all the time. It doesn't happen as much with 5th rounders, 6th rounders, 7th rounders. If you don't take advantage of your opportunity, there's no guarantee it ever comes again, which does heighten your pressure on yourself individually going into a season.
Yeah, I remember at mandatory minicamp last month, Donnelly Richardson was running with the first team defense as the free safety. And then Shaw Smith-Wade as the nickel, which I think Shaw Smith-Wade was kind of brought in to eventually become that role. And like you said, if those guys turn into the quality starters in their role, you hit home runs. Like you said, Shaw Smith-Wade, 5th-round pick. Donnelly Richardson, undrafted free agent. Hey, you hit on a couple along with Jalen Coker. Hey, you found the diamonds in the rough. Good job. But like you said, also it's a boom or bust situation where if the secondary, if those guys can't cover, it's like, well, yeah, what'd you expect? They're second-year guys. One's a 5th-round pick and one's an undrafted free agent. What'd you expect?
And not to mention the financial aspects of it. If you they're on 5th round and undrafted rookie deals, right? They are cheap as dirt by NFL standards. Very highly paid for fresh out of college and any other standards.
Yes.
But they're cheap from salary cap perspective and everything. So if they hit, that allows you to spend more on other positions and increase the level of talent on your roster. But it's a chance taken by everybody involved, and the pressure is to make it a good chance and not a bad risk.
And those guys have been getting a lot of rave reviews. Those two guys we just talked about, a lot of rave reviews from not only us, people that went down and covered the mini camp and stuff, but even for the coaches as well. Like and even other players about how those guys have leveled up from last year to this year. Those guys late in the season got a lot of snaps. They really did because of injuries and otherwise. But that experience helped. It mattered. And guess what? Those games you're playing weren't super high stakes, and you got the chance to make some mistakes.
It's also kind of what we talked about with the Open Championship going on, where like it's the only sport where after the first quarter, if you're playing well, you have to go home and think about it for a night and sleep and wake up and do it all over again. Both of those guys, I assume, and I've never been on an NFL roster, I assume their heads were spinning a bit last year.
Oh, yeah.
Right? From practice squad, and all of a sudden you're out there and, oh, look, now you're guarding Mike Evans or whoever it is, like future Hall of Famers. What is going on here? You're on that treadmill set to 100, just trying to keep up. This year, the positive is you're getting a ton of reps in OTAs and mini camps with the starters, and right, you're not going to be as, quite frankly, unprepared, but at the same time, you have time to think about everything and what's on the line and this opportunity and the pressure and everything else we're talking about. So there's gifts and curse to both of them. But those are my 5. It's really 4, but then I did a 4A and 4B. Those are my 5. Bryce Young, Ike Ekwonu, Chuba Hubbard, and then the young defensive backs, Shaw Smith-Wade and Donnelly Richardson, as most pressure on their shoulders heading into training camp, which starts on Wednesday in earnest. Rookies on Monday for the Carolina Panthers.